The next thing we want to look at is how do we find the maximum or minimum of a parabola or quadratic. And if you've followed along so far, you've noticed that when you're in vertex form, you know the vertex, which is going to correspond to the maximum or the minimum. However, if you are in your standard form, you either need to convert to vertex form, which is completing the square, and sometimes that can be a long process. So is there another way that we can quickly come up with the vertex? And the answer is yes. We can come up with a vertex by using a simple equation and then plugging the result of this equation into my original function. So right here, I've got the equation x equals negative b over 2a. What that relationship tells me is that when I'm in standard form, that is going to give me the x-coordinate of the vertex. So this right here is the x-coordinate of the vertex. Once I have that x-coordinate of the vertex, I can plug that back into my original equation to find the y-coordinate of the vertex, which actually is the maximum or minimum. So right here, your maximum or minimum is defined by the y value or the f of x value. So when we look at the vertex in this form, it's not h and k. Rather, it's negative b over 2a. That tells me what my x value is. And then the y value is going to be f of negative b over 2a, or the result of taking my first value and plugging it back into the function. So first of all, find the maximum or minimum of the following parabola, 3x squared minus 16x plus 5. We actually saw this in the previous page, but we solved the zeros. Now we want to find the maximum or the minimum. So we want to do this without completing the square. So x equals negative b over 2a is going to give me the x-coordinate of the vertex. So the b value is negative 16, so a negative 16 gives me a positive 16 over 2 times 3, which is 16 over 6, which is 8/3. To me, that's a little easier than completing the square. There's the x-coordinate of the vertex. It's 8/3. So we know the first part here is going to be 8/3. The second part then is we're going to take f of 8/3 and we're going to plug that into my original equation. So 3 times 8/3 squared minus 16 times 8/3 plus 5. So that would be 3 times 64 over 9 minus 16 times 8/3. If we do that, that's negative 128 over 3 plus 5. And you can simplify that down to be negative 49/3. So my vertex is 8/3 negative 49/3. And since I'm asking for the minimum, this value right here is the minimum, or it would be the maximum. This one we know is the minimum because this is 3x squared. That means the parabola is going to open upward, so the lowest point there is going to be the minimum. So that negative 49/3 tells me what the minimum is going to be, and the vertex is 8/3 negative 49/3.